Hello everyone, welcome to Reddit Visuals. I used to believe good intentions were enough, until I learned some people will turn your kindness into a ledger they think you owe forever. My name's James, 43, mid-level project manager, the boring kind of adult who knows the difference between a breaker and a fuse and keeps warranties in a labeled folder. 6 years ago, I walked into a ready-made family, my wife, Claire, and her 2 kids, Ethan, who was 15 then and is 21 now, and Mia, who was 12 then and is 18. I didn't try to be anyone's replacement. I said it from day one. You already have a father. I'm just a guy who cares about your mother and, if I'm lucky, earns your trust. I drove carpool, learned to bake gluten-free cupcakes for a school sale, and taught them both how to parallel park in the empty church lot on Sundays. I thought consistency would translate into respect. I was wrong. Respect is cheap until you say the word no. The first hairline crack showed up at a kitchen table that had seen better days. It was September, football on mute, half-finished science project on the counter. Ethan came in with that casual smirk only teenage boys can afford and said, "Hey, I need $180 for team fees by Friday." I asked for the paperwork, not because I didn't believe him, but because I'm the paperwork guy. He shrugged, dug out a wrinkled form from his backpack, already signed by his mother. I wrote the check, placed the carbon copy under a magnet labeled bills, and went back to de-seeding a pomegranate. That magnet would turn into a scoreboard. In November, Mia's phone died theatrically in the middle of dinner. "It's for school," she said. "We're doing video essays now." The child of my heart, not my blood, looked at me like requests were tests I could pass or fail. I replaced the phone and added her to our plan. Have you ever had the distinct sensation of putting on a backpack you didn't realize was full of rocks? That was me, quietly adjusting straps. Still, I told myself, blended families take time. We built small rituals. Friday night, make your own pizza, where Mia would sculpt hearts out of pepperoni. Saturday morning coffee runs with Ethan, where he'd talk about a carburetor as though it were a living animal. I thought we were building credit in a ledger that didn't exist. Then one Thursday evening, Claire came home from having coffee with the kids, something she did once a month, just the 3 of them, which I respected. She had that look, the one where her smile didn't reach past her cheekbones. "We need to talk," she said, setting her purse down with the weight of something heavier than keys and receipts. We sat on the edge of our bed, and she twisted her wedding ring the way people do when they're about to deliver news that doesn't have gift wrap. "The kids said something today that I need to tell you about. They said you're jealous of Tom, that you're always trying to control everything because you're insecure about not being their real dad." The words hit like a cold shower in February. "They said that to you?" I asked, keeping my voice level even though my pulse was doing gymnastics. "Yes," Claire said quietly. "Ethan brought it up first." Mia agreed. "They said you make everything about money and paperwork because you need to feel important. James, I defended you, but I also need to understand, is there any truth to it? Do you feel like you're competing with Tom?" I sat there for a moment, letting the accusations settle like sediment in a glass of water that's been shaken too hard. "Jealous," I repeated. "Of a man who sends $40 every other month with a shrug emoji and calls that parenting? Claire, I'm not jealous of Tom. I'm exhausted from being the only adult in the room while everyone pretends he's father of the year because he shows up to graduation smelling like expensive cologne." She touched my hand. "I know you do a lot, but maybe we need to talk about expectations. The kids feel pressure." "The kids feel pressure?" I said, and I could hear my voice climbing. "I feel like an ATM with a heartbeat. Every request comes with their father's name attached like a price tag I can never match. Maybe it's time Tom felt some pressure too." That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling fan going in circles the way my thoughts were going in circles, and somewhere around 2 a.m., I made a decision. If I was jealous of their real dad, then their real dad could have a real seat at the table. Not as a guest, as a co-host. The next morning, I drafted a spreadsheet. Rent, utilities, groceries, car insurance for Ethan, who'd just gotten his license and drove like every road was a suggestion, cell plan for both kids, streaming services they complained about ads on but never paid a dime to remove. I didn't include everything, just the kid-specific expenses. Then I printed it, highlighted the totals in yellow, and placed it on the kitchen table like evidence in a trial I didn't ask to be part of. When Ethan came down for breakfast, he saw it and frowned. "What's this?" "Reality," I said, pouring coffee. "This is what living costs. Since you and Mia told your mother I'm jealous of your real dad, I figured it's time to let him be real in all the ways that matter. He can cover half of these." Ethan's face went through a series of calculations. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said. "I'm being clear. If Tom's the gold standard, then he can also carry the weight of the gold. I'll email this to him today." Mia came down mid-conversation, still in pajamas, and looked at the paper like it was a subpoena. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, voice rising. "Are you trying to punish us?" "I'm trying to teach you that words have price tags," I said. "You want your father to be central?" "So do I. Central means bills. Central means phone calls before midnight. Central means showing up before the cake and staying after the dishes. Let's see if he's interested." Claire stood in the doorway, arms crossed, trying to be neutral Switzerland in a war she didn't start. "James, can we talk about this privately?" she asked, but her voice had that edge that meant she already knew I wasn't backing down. "We can talk tonight," I said. "Right now I have a phone call to make." After everyone left for work and school, I dialed the man I'd met exactly 3 times. Once at a middle school awards night where he arrived late with Starbucks and left early when parking got complicated. Once at Ethan's high school graduation where he stood like a tourist taking pictures of monuments he didn't build, and once at a tense drop-off where he handed the kids back like rental equipment. "Hey, Tom," I said when he picked up. "It's James. We need to talk about the kids." He sounded surprised but not unpleasant. "Sure, man. What's going on?" I emailed him the spreadsheet while we were still on the phone. "I'm sending you a breakdown of costs for Ethan and Mia. Not everything, just the kid-specific expenses. Insurance, phones, team fees, the stuff that's directly theirs. I think it's time we split this evenly. Not punishing you, just sharing the load like co-parents should." There was a pause, the kind that stretches long enough to become its own answer. "I mean, I help when I can," he said. "I send money." "You sent $40 in March and $60 in June," I said, keeping my tone even. "That's $100 in 6 months, Tom. Ethan's car insurance alone is $220 a month. I'm not attacking you. I'm inviting you to participate. You're their father. Let's make that mean something." Another pause. "I'll take a look at the numbers," he said, which is a sentence people say when they've already decided the numbers are too high. "Great," I said. "I'll send you updates monthly. Transparent. Receipts for everything." "Yeah, sounds good," he said, and we hung up with the kind of politeness that barely hides the iceberg underneath. The first month, $0. The second month, he Zelled me $50 with the note. "For Ethan's stuff. Hope it helps." $50. When a tank of gas costs $65 and we're splitting cell phone bills that run $140 a month. The third month, my texts went unanswered. The fourth month, my calls went to voicemail. Tom had done what Tom does best. He faded like a Polaroid left in the sun. But here's the thing. The kids didn't notice at first because I kept everything running. Quietly. The way I always had. Then Ethan's summer tournament fees came up. $320 for travel, lodging, and registration. He dropped the form on the counter one evening, casual as ordering takeout. "Need this by next Friday," he said. "Great," I said. "Text your dad and ask him to Zelle his half. Once I see that, I'll cover mine." Ethan's face did that thing where confusion turns to annoyance in 3 seconds. "Why are you making this complicated?" "I'm making it fair," I said. "You told your mom I'm jealous of your dad. So let's see what he's jealous of. Text him." He did. Right there, in front of me. Thumbs moving with the confidence of someone who'd never been ignored before. I watched the blue bubble appear on his screen and sit there, delivered. Read. And then, nothing. He waited 5 minutes, then 10. Then he looked at me with something I'd never seen in his eyes before. Doubt. "He's probably busy," Ethan said. "Probably," I said. "Let me know when he responds." He didn't. Not that night. Not the next day. A week later, Ethan came to me with his phone, and the message thread looked like a graveyard of unanswered questions. "Can you just cover it this time?" he asked, quieter now, the smirk gone. No, I said. Because this time has been every time for 6 years. Call him. Ethan called. I heard it from the kitchen. 1 ring, 2 rings. Voicemail. He tried again an hour later. Voicemail. He tried the next morning. Voicemail. By the weekend, Ethan wasn't walking with the same weight in his step. He moved through the house quieter, smaller, like someone learning the walls aren't as solid as they thought. Mia's turn came a month later. She'd been accepted to community college and needed a laptop for classes. Not a want, a genuine need. The school required it for online coursework. She'd done her research, found a refurbished model for $580, and came to me with a printout, and that look kids give you when they think they've been responsible enough to deserve a yes. Can you help with this? She asked. Absolutely, I said. Split it with your dad and I'll cover my half right now. Her face fell. James, come on. You know he's not going to answer. Then maybe it's time you knew that too, I said. And I didn't say it mean. I said it the way you tell someone the truth when the lie has been expensive for too long. She tried. She called, texted, even sent him a voice message explaining why she needed it, her voice shaking with the kind of vulnerability that makes you want to reach through the phone and fix everything. Tom responded 3 days later with, Baby, I'm tight right now. Ask James. I'll get you something nice for Christmas. Christmas was 7 months away. Classes started in 3 weeks. She showed me the text, and I watched her face trying to decide whether to be angry or heartbroken. I bought the laptop. I didn't make a speech. I didn't say, I told you so. I just handed her the box and said, You'll pay me back by doing well in your classes. She nodded, and for the first time, she didn't say thank you like it was a transaction. She said it like she meant it. But the moment that changed everything, the moment that made the whole house tilt on its axis, it was a 48-pack of LaCroix and a wheel of Brie. Let me explain. Claire had been carrying the emotional weight of this whole situation for months, trying to be the bridge between me and the kids, between the kids and their father, between everyone and the reality no one wanted to name. One Saturday, she went to the grocery store, and when she came back, she was rattled. I ran into Tom, she said, setting bags on the counter harder than necessary. I stopped unloading the dishwasher. Here? In our neighborhood? At Whole Foods, she said. He was buying cocktail shrimp and fancy cheese. James, he had a cart full of stuff for some party he's throwing. Told me business is great, just closed a big deal. I asked him, casually, not confrontational, I asked if he'd gotten your messages about splitting costs. You know what he said? I waited. He laughed. He said, Claire, you married a guy who can handle it. Why should I stress when James has it covered? Then he winked at me. He winked, like we're all in on some joke where he gets to be the fun dad and you get to be the wallet. Something in me that had been bending for 6 years finally snapped clean. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet, mechanical break. Call the kids down here, I said. James, call them down. 5 minutes later, we were all in the living room. Ethan on the couch, Mia in the chair, Claire standing near the doorway like a referee who knows the next round is going to be bloody. I stood in the center, phone in hand, and I pulled up the Zelle history between me and Tom. $50 in February, nothing in March, April, May, June, July. I turned the screen toward them. This, I said, is your father's contribution to your lives in the last 6 months. $50. I spend more than that on gas driving you two around in a week. Your mother just saw him at Whole Foods buying party supplies, told her business is booming. So let me be clear, your dad isn't broke. He's just comfortable with me covering everything while he gets to show up smelling like success and taking credit for raising kids he doesn't fund. That's not fair, Mia said, but her voice cracked. You're right, I said. It's not. It's not fair that I've been called jealous and controlling for asking him to do the bare minimum. It's not fair that he gets your love for free while I have to earn it in $20 bills and permission slips. But you know what? I'm done negotiating with ghosts. If he wants to be your real dad, he can start acting like it. Otherwise, he's just a man you share DNA with who sends memes on your birthday. Ethan stood up. So what? You're just going to stop helping us? That's your solution? No, I said. and my voice didn't shake. I'm going to keep being your parent, but I'm also going to stop pretending that pointing out his absence makes me the villain. I'm not jealous of your father. I'm disgusted by him, and I'm exhausted from pretending you don't see the difference. The room went silent in the way rooms go silent when the truth is too big to argue with. Claire's eyes were wet, but she didn't stop me. Mia stared at the floor. Ethan sat back down, jaw tight, and pulled out his phone. I watched him open his messages, scroll to his father's name, and type something long. Then he put the phone face down on his lap and didn't say another word. That night, I didn't sleep next to my wife in our bed. I slept on the couch because the space felt necessary, like a comma in a sentence that had been running too long. Around 3 a.m., I heard footsteps. Mia sat on the edge of the coffee table in her oversized sleep shirt and looked at me in the dark. He didn't respond, she whispered. Ethan sent him a message and he left him on read. I sat up. I'm sorry. Are you? She asked, not mean, just honest. Yes, I said. I didn't want you to hurt. I just wanted you to see. I see, she said, and then quieter. I'm sorry I called you jealous. You're not. You're just the only one who stayed. She went back upstairs, and I sat there in the blue glow of the cable box clock, feeling something close to relief. Not victory, just the exhausting, necessary relief of being seen. Here's the thing they don't tell you about blended families. Love isn't the hard part. Love is easy. What's hard is teaching people that love doesn't mean letting them pawn their respect at your expense. The weeks that followed weren't Hallmark moments. Ethan started picking up more shifts at the auto shop and paid his own phone bill without a ceremony. Mia got a weekend job at a campus bookstore and bought her own textbooks. They didn't apologize in movie speeches. They apologized in receipts and rideshare payments and the absence of requests that used to come daily. Claire and I had the hard conversations, the kind where you admit you've been too soft because you were afraid of being the bad guy. She told me she'd been protecting the wrong peace, that keeping the house quiet isn't the same as keeping it healthy. I told her I didn't need her to choose sides, but I needed her to see mine. And Tom? Tom stopped returning anyone's calls. Not just mine, theirs too. Ethan's birthday came and went with a text that said, "Sorry, crazy busy, love you champ." Mia graduated high school, and he sent a $50 Visa gift card with no note. The kids stopped mentioning him unless I asked, and eventually I stopped asking. One night, months later, I was fixing the porch light that had been flickering since spring. Ethan came out with 2 beers, handed me one without asking, and leaned against the railing. "You were right," he said, "about all of it." I didn't gloat. I twisted the bulb until it stopped flickering and said, "I didn't want to be." "I know," he said. "That's why it sucked." We drank our beers in the kind of silence that doesn't need filling. When he went inside, he clapped my shoulder once, quick and awkward, the way young men do when they don't have the words, but they have the feeling. So here's my question for all of you. Was I wrong? Should I have kept paying quietly, kept absorbing the insults, kept pretending that calling me jealous while cashing my checks wasn't the cruelest kind of irony? Or did I do the right thing by forcing their real dad to show his real priorities? Drop your verdict in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you would have done. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If you want more stories that don't pull punches, hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.